Dr. Hamster's scientific laboratory was always a place of amazing discoveries and experiments. Today, a strange green radioactive mist floated mysteriously in the air. Peppa and Rebecca came for an educational tour visit. The instruments beeped alarmingly and flashed bright red warning lights everywhere. Pedro noticed a strange, eerie glow in the corner, a neon creature with radioactive symbols glowing in its eyes. Labubu slowly rose from the floor menacingly. His bright green fur radiated dangerous neon radiation throughout the room. Candy felt strange tingling in her hands. Skin began glowing with bright green neon light spreading everywhere. Labubu started making electrical buzzing sounds loudly, the air filled with radioactive energy waves pulsating around them. Rebecca tried to step toward the exit desperately. Her legs became heavy and completely immobile like stone. Dr. Hamster searched for protective suits frantically everywhere. He saw only green flashes and radiation everywhere around. Labubu touched scientific instruments with his paw gently. They began glowing with poisonous green color immediately. The laboratory walls covered with radioactive coating completely. Everything around became dangerously luminous and threatening. Bodies started radiating neon glow from within their skin. Peppa looked at her hands in growing horror. They glowed with radioactive green light spreading up her arms. Labubu walked between tables calmly and purposefully. Each step left glowing radioactive footprints behind him. Pedro tried desperately to close his eyes tightly. Eyelids became transparent from radiation exposure completely. Candy froze in a glowing pose permanently. Her entire body radiated dangerous energy continuously. Labubu stopped before Peppa, smiling wickedly down. Radioactive symbols in eyes pulsated with evil energy. Peppa felt the final energy wave washing over. Green glow swallowed her consciousness completely and forever. The laboratory became a radioactive zone permanently. Children transformed into radiation sources emitting dangerous energy. Labubu sat on tables satisfied with results. His neon empire gained new glowing inhabitants today. Parents searched for children outside, desperately calling. They saw green glow emanating from laboratory windows. Labubu vanished in radioactive flash silently. Symbols continue glowing brightly in the darkness. Laboratory is closed forever now, permanently. Glowing children wait patiently for new visitors. Mr. Bull's library was always a quiet and peaceful place. But today, the silence became ominous and frightening. All books disappeared from the shelves completely. Only purple stains remained on the wooden bookcases. Peppa noticed strange mystical symbols on the walls. They glowed with bright purple light in darkness. Susie heard whispers from empty shelves. Voices spoke in an unknown ancient language mysteriously. Pedro found an old leather book on floor. Pages were covered with purple ink completely. Candy tried to open the heavy door outside, but Handle burned her hands with freezing cold. Mr. Bull searched for his glasses desperately. He saw only purple shadows everywhere around. From behind the tall bookshelf came Labubu slowly, purple creature with skulls in his glowing eyes. He began reading ancient spells aloud loudly, air filled with mystical energy completely around them. Books appeared from nowhere, magically floating. They flew through the air by themselves gracefully. Pages transformed into purple butterflies instantly. They circled around children threateningly in the air. Labubu pointed at the children menacingly. Purple rays burst from his glowing skull eyes. Peppa felt her eyelids growing heavy slowly. Magic was putting everyone to deep sleep. Children fell asleep one by one peacefully. Their bodies became transparent gradually, like ghosts. Labubu collected souls into his ancient book. Purple silhouettes disappeared on the yellowed pages. Mr. Bull tried to stop him bravely. He turned into a purple stone statue. Library filled with mystical fog completely. Reality warped and changed around them mysteriously. Labubu closed the book with souls carefully. Everyone vanished in purple whirlwind completely. In morning, library stood completely empty. Only new mysterious books on shelves. Souls of children were trapped inside forever. They became part of collection permanently. Labubu disappeared into another dimension silently, but books remained waiting patiently for new readers. He searches for new library now constantly. Your school might be next target, unfortunately. Beware of purple books at night always. Souls are trapped inside them forever. If you see skull in eyes clearly, run away immediately without looking back ever again. The Dinosaur Museum was always Peppa's family favorite place, but today something changed in the dark halls among ancient bones. Peppa, George, and Daddy Pig came for an exhibition tour. The lights flickered with strange blue flashes throughout. George ran excitedly to the Tyrannosaurus skeleton display. The bones began glowing with eerie blue light from within. Daddy Pig tried to find the main light switch. All the doors suddenly slammed shut by themselves. A dark shadow appeared from behind the fossil display case. It moved mysteriously against the light on walls. The shadow took the shape of a fluffy creature. Labubu emerged from darkness with glowing blue star eyes. His black fur absorbed all the surrounding light completely. Only his eyes shone with bright blue fire. Labubu began making deep, rumbling sounds throughout the museum. The dinosaur skeletons came alive and started moving. The ancient bones rearranged themselves into new formations. They danced gracefully through the air around visitors. Peppa felt a sticky sensation beneath her small feet. The floor had become thick like ancient tar. George tried to hide safely behind his father. His toy dinosaur transformed into a real creature. Labubu stretched his dark paws toward the frightened family. His touch turned everything into stone fossils. Daddy Pig felt his skin hardening and becoming rigid. He was slowly transforming into a stone statue. The museum exhibits came completely alive around them. They surrounded the family in a glowing circle. Peppa saw an ancient pig in the display case. It was her own reflection from the past. Labubu gathered everyone in the center of the hall. Blue light filled the entire museum space completely. Time began flowing backward through the ancient corridors. The walls transformed into a prehistoric forest. The family slowly sank into the distant past. Their bodies became part of ancient history forever. Labubu disappeared mysteriously into the shadows. The museum returned to normal appearance by morning. The security guard discovered new exhibits in the hall. 3 pig fossils stood near the entrance. Visitors admired the incredibly realistic stone statues. Nobody noticed the fear frozen in their eyes. Labubu watched silently from the shadow of displays. His collection of ancient souls had grown larger. A place of joy and laughter. Today the swings creaked without wind, the sandbox covered with strange bronze dust that sparkled. Peppa and Susie came to play after school together. The air smelled of metal and ancient forgotten things from long ago. George ran excitedly to the slide but stopped suddenly. A bronze figure sat motionless on top watching them. Labubu slowly turned his head toward the children. His eyes glowed with amber fire from deep within. The creature jumped down without making any sound. Paws left bronze tracks on the green grass beneath. Peppa tried to step back in growing fear. Her legs became heavy, metallic, and ice-cold. Labubu began humming an ancient, mysterious melody. Sounds echoed eerily across the empty playground around them. Susie felt her skin hardening strangely everywhere. Arms covered with thin bronze layer spreading slowly upward. George wanted to scream for help desperately. Voice stuck, throat filled with metallic taste and numbness. Labubu touched the swings with his bronze paw. They turned into bronze statues instantly before their eyes. The sandbox became hard as solid stone. Sand grains merged into single heavy mass that gleamed. Children felt their bodies turning to stone slowly. Movements became slower and heavier with each second. Peppa looked at her changing hands in horror. Skin gleamed with metallic bronze shines spreading everywhere. Labubu walked around children in slow circle. Each step left permanent bronze mark on ground. Susie tried desperately to blink her eyes. Eyelids froze completely. Eyes became glassy and lifeless. George froze in his final terrified pose, mouth open in silent, terrified scream of fear. Labubu stopped before Peppa, calmly smiling. Amber eyes looked deep into her frightened soul. Peppa felt her very last heartbeat fading. Bronze silence descended over everything around them. The playground became statue museum forevermore, children frozen in eternal play together. Labubu sat on swings, smiling wickedly satisfied. His collection gained 3 new precious exhibits. Parents searched for children at evening desperately, found only bronze figures standing perfectly still. Labubu vanished in growing twilight shadows. Amber eyes still glow in darkness waiting. The playground is closed forever now. Bronze children wait patiently for new friends. The Sunshine Nursery had always been a place of joy, but today something changed. Miss Rabbit conducts a morning lesson with the children. All children sit in a circle. Suddenly, lights begin to flicker with strange purple flashes. Children look around with growing concern. A mysterious purple shadow materializes in the corner. From it emerges Labubu with pink fur and yellow lightning in eyes. Peppa first notices the guest and points with trembling finger. Children see a smiling creature with sinister grin. Labubu approaches the circle of children, making quiet buzzing sound. The air fills with strange energy. Susie Sheep hides behind Miss Rabbit, but Teacher stands motionless. Her eyes have become empty and lifeless. Pedro Pony and Rebecca Rabbit stand up and move toward Labubu. Their movements become mechanical, like puppets. George hides behind Peppa, holding tightly to her hand. Peppa feels her little brother trembling with fear. Labubu extends his paws toward children, radiating purple light. This glow envelops each child completely. Children begin to smile with Labubu's sinister grin. Their faces become emotionless, movements robotic. Peppa tries to resist the influence, but willpower weakens. The purple glow becomes brighter. An eerie silence falls over the nursery. Children stand in circle around creature, eyes glowing yellow. Miss Rabbit waves to parents through window. Her smile looks normal, but eyes remain empty. Parents wave back cheerfully, unaware of what's happening. They see only familiar picture. Labubu grows in size, his fur becoming brighter. Yellow lightning bolts pulse in rhythm with children's heartbeats. Children move synchronously, like single organism. They arrange toys in strange patterns. Peppa tries to call for help, but voice sounds mechanical. Only whisper escapes from her mouth. Light becomes completely purple, creating surreal atmosphere. Bright colors take on ominous tint. Labubu sits in center of room, surrounded by puppets. His grin becomes wider, showing sharp teeth. Parents pick up children, seeing ordinary picture. Children behave normally, but eyes retain yellow glow. Mummy Pig hugs Peppa and George tightly. Children smile, but smile doesn't reach their eyes. At home, family dines as usual, but atmosphere is tense. Daddy Pig jokes, children react with delay. At night, Labubu appears in children's bedroom. He sits on windowsill and watches sleeping children. In morning, family wakes up with yellow lightning in eyes. They eat breakfast silently while Labubu sits on table.